All right. Mike says, let me know when you're ready for me. All right, pressing the button, Mrs. Ryan.
Okay.
Somebody's getting nervous, as if. Hi, Mrs. Ryan.
Hello.
What is going on there? Oh, that's so funny. Of course I did that. Put a camera in front of a camera, and there we are. But here we are. Hi, Mrs. Ryan.
Hello.
Get rid of some echo. Get situated here. I feel a lot better than the last time this guy was here. I was nervous as all get out. I watched some of it back the other night. It was pretty funny.
Did?
Anyway, welcome back. Hi, Mrs. Ryan. Hi, everybody else. Tonight is, blowing it right off the bat. Tonight is Thursday, August 29th, 2019. My name is Jay Ryan. This is Nicole Ryan. We are the Ryans. And this is the Late Night Playset. Formerly It's Tonight Show. I don't know what we're calling it. Fucking show that we do. We're the Ryans. Mrs. Ryan, I want to speed through a lot of the stuff in the hellos, if possible, be as brief as we can, just because we have some videos, and we have Mr. Magnus Walker here today staring at us, about to be a guest, sitting in that very chair. So, for the sake of brevity, let's do it, Mrs. Ryan.
Let's do it.
I have two things today. I've got some East Coast feeds. We've got to wrap up the Casman's birthday out there in West Palm Beach, Florida. Mm-hmm. And then we also have a video from Mr. Ray Schaefer over at Porsche Corporate in Atlanta. Awesome. Which one do you want first?
East Coast feed.
I would have done the same thing. Good call, Mrs. Ryan. Checking in with the Casman and Brooke. And see who else is with them down in West Palm Beach. Roll it out.
Mr. and Mrs. Ryan, part 2, birthday weekend. Maybe it's part 3. Who cares? We're drinking, and it's noon. There's Brooke and the Casman. Uncle Mike is here somewhere, but probably still sleeping because it was a very long night last night. But we're here in Paradise. So I want to take the fans out there of the Late Night Playset around Paradise right here. We call this Club Suzette, where Uncle Mike and Aunt Susan live. And as you can see behind me is the pool and the jacuzzi and a bunch of fantasticness. And it's all encased in this wonderful bug shield of life. And there's actual nature and shit back there. They got like real peacocks and lizards and shit. So that was it. Want to give you some random love. It is the birthday week, month, so get ready, because it's all about the Casman, and we have beverages. Love you.
Oh, man.
On and on with that guy. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's just keep him rolling, Mrs. Ryan. Still the birthday weekend down there in West Palm. Roll it out.
Mr. and Mrs. Ryan, look, I found Uncle Mike. He's wearing a Cookie Monster shirt. You know, it's dinner time. Here comes Aunt Susan. Aunt Susan, say what's up to Jay Nicole.
What's up,
boys
and girls?
We're eating pizza. Pizza, you know, brother made a pizza. No, that wasn't me. No, but actually it isn't that bad. We got garlic bread, we got macaroni. There's Brooke. Look, it's like Brooke and the Casman. Bam, there it is. Random love. I don't know how many feeds this is from the birthday weekend, but we have a few. And Susan hasn't been in any because she has to work for the man. That's the problem.
The slave.
Woo! And you know what?
Oh, jeez. Well, yep. Well. All right. I feel like that was about the end. Anyway, all right. Sorry about that, Casman. Good grief. They did an update to our little machine over here, so it's like Tutorial City all over again. Well. But in the meantime, the last one before we get to Ray Schaefer, checking in. I believe we're back from West Palm at this point. Roll it out.
Mr. and Mrs. Ryan, East Coast feed coming to you from the Big Y in Bethel. Look at Michael. Michael, show him the back of your shirt. What's the back of your shirt?
It's the Auto Kennel.
Oh, is it Auto Kramer? Is it Auto Kennel? I don't even know what it is. All I know is it's a lot of kennels happening. Turn around.
Paul Kramer and the Auto Kennels.
He's got Brooks aviator glasses on. Look at Megan in the background. Megan, how we doing? Say hi to Jay and Nicole.
Oh, hi, Jay and Nicole.
There we go. It's watch out for that. It's East Coast Feed Day. We're randomly shopping. Brooke is working today, so sorry we couldn't include her in the East Coast Feed for the day.
We're just going to be here instead.
Yes, exactly. Oh, look, they're doing the Brooke.
That's
the Brooke. Love you guys.
That's awesome. That's well done. That's good stuff. All right. Didn't do that one premature. All right. Okay, Mrs. Ryan, let's see. Business-wise, I have the one last thing. Let's check in with Ray Schaefer. Go backstage.
Hi, Ray.
Roll it out.
Hello, Jay and Nicole from the Porsche Experience Center Atlanta. The month of September is almost upon us, and that means the fortunate date of Saturday, 9/14, is actually about to happen. So Porsche Classic and 000 are working together to help create the Rare Shades 4 event at the A+D Museum. Come out and see the cool cars. It's right down the street from where you are. There obviously will be a special emphasis on the 914 models. So we'd like to invite you and your viewers along for the fun. Until then, let's take a look at some of the cool 914 models we have on display here at the PEC Atlanta, courtesy of our friends from Automobile Atlanta. Here at the PEC Atlanta, they'll also be celebrating 914 in September with these very models that we've just taken a look at. So I'll be in LA with you guys at the A+D Museum with 000 and Rare Shades 4, obviously with a special attention on the 914. So however you celebrate this special day in September, enjoy one of these still most affordable Porsche Classic models.
Very nice, Ray Schaefer. All right.
Nice music selection, sir.
All right. Well, that brings me to, of course, if not already, please consider following Ray Schaefer for your backstage pass to all things Porsche Classic, brand heritage, and travel-related material. That's Ray.Schaefer. SHAFFER. Oh, Mrs. Ryan, I only do that because you love it. I'm sure it helps our friend Ray Schaefer, but...
It makes me laugh every time. I don't know why. It's something about how you do it.
All right. Well, it's Mr. Radio Voice. All right, let's quickly move it along. You've got some what's going on to do. It's time to ask the question that's on everyone's mind, Mrs. Ryan.
Dun, 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 dun.
What's going on, Mrs. Ryan? Dun, 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 dun.
There's going to be a new Wolverine this fall
Oh, my goodness.
that I'm pretty
gracious.
stoked about. Did you read
What?
anything?
No, you're kidding.
The younger Obama daughter.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
there now.
Okay.
It made me think this morning. I had a ton of epiphanies, blah, blah. But I really did enjoy a lot of things about it there. And I'm super happy that she's going to be there, too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well
so
done.
go blue.
Yeah, that's something I was going to say. I can't wait to hear more about that as it progresses.
Yeah. Go blue. Similarly speaking, though, Matthew McConaughey is going to be a professor at the University of Austin this fall.
All
in the
right.
Totally.
News.
He's going to be in the Moody Communications School there. That's what
It's named after someone, Moody. It's not.
Maybe. Probably. But he's doing a script-to-screen course there.
Okay.
So that he's going to be officially on the professorial
Cool.
role there. So
There we have it.
enjoy your collegiate experiences, everyone. There's going to be tens of thousands of expunged small marijuana records in Illinois.
I read that as well.
So
I read that they're also using an AI, some sort of algorithm to figure out who to let out of jail. No way this ends badly.
There's so many problems with that whole thing.
I
but
support the move, obviously.
they're using there's a nonprofit automated system that's like volunteering to use their services. But
I just can't wait for these people to get out of jail, for them to see the world.
I am so happy. And they did it in San Fran. It's already
Okay.
started. Did I cut you off? Sorry.
No, probably for different reasons. I'm happy for them, obviously, because it's whatever, for all the reasons you are. But also, I just can't wait to see there's going to be some culture shock, man. If you were in jail for that and seeing the world what it's like these days, a little bit different.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
You ever see Shawshank Redemption? I put it up there when the old guy, the really old guy, the Birdman, when he gets out of Alcatraz, he has no idea how to live. Everyone's got themselves in one heap of a hurry. He doesn't know how to fit in with that world anymore.
That's a really good point. Lots of people are going to be very confused, I think. Maybe this will help.
You're awesome. You are the best.
There is going to be a special limited time collaboration with Nerds and Slurpees that 7-Eleven's going to do. Listen, Nerds, I don't remember. They've always been around in my existence, but they came out. Yeah. But they only came out in 83, the candies.
That's what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Okay, Wonka. Got it. Nerds.
So there's going to be a limited edition Nerds smoothie. That just sounds great. They're doing the original dual cartridge.
If this doesn't
thing.
get better, I really want to bail from a nerd smoothie story.
Whatever, strawberry and grape.
Why does it sound good to you?
Because I have a sweet tooth, and I can't eat a lot of the things I used to just gorge on because it's gross, but I know that there's people that will want to try that. It's the original dual cartridge flavors of strawberry and grape.
I do remember that, of course, and it was the whole... Are they still even like that?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah, so that's the flavor. Someone go have it and tell me what it tastes like.
Well, we should get you some Nerds if that's what you want.
I do like Nerds.
And an appointment to the dentist. And that's been What's Going On. Dun, 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 dun. Woo. Good job, Mrs. Ryan. So many buttons to press here. Good grief. All's cleared. Let's take a quick break, Mrs. Ryan. I feel like we're speeding through, but now we can settle down because our guest will be in here. When we get back, Mr. Magnus Walker, the urban outlaw himself, will be sitting in that chair right there. More to come right after this. Without further ado, stop with all the hubbub. Hi, Mrs. Ryan. Welcome back, everybody. You might notice someone's not sitting here as promised. That's because he's going to do the good old-fashioned talk show walk-in. It is my pleasure to welcome our first guest this evening, Mr. Magnus Walker. What's up, fella? How are you, buddy?
See ya.
Yeah, you do. Oh, my goodness.
So dark and so cold. I guess it is a nighttime show, though.
It's a nighttime show. What do we have here? Now, you gifted us the 277 last time, and this is the 964.
Yeah, the Hot Wheels 964.
Wow, this is very cool. Thank you. This seems to be in a protective case in the whole bit more so than the other one. Can this come out? Can it come out? Is it not collectible?
No, it's collectible. This is actually really collectible because it's part of what they call the Red Line Club.
Oh, we need this too.
So that's the Hot Wheels Red Line Club.
Oh, cool.
That's
That's what's special about it, the red line.
Well, that and also that it's limited edition. That's not the one you can go get at Target or your favorite superstore out there. This one
How'd you know I have my own favorite superstore?
No, this one you have to be a member of the Hot Wheels Red Line Club to get it. It's not even out yet. It's special edition, and I always carry one around with me.
You got your 277?
That's my 277 that's gone around the world. That's sort of my good luck charm.
It looks like it's gone around the world at this point.
It's got a lot of adventures, driven across Australia and been down in South America and various other places.
Well, thank you very
much.
much.
But that one's actually pretty cool. There's a whole long story we'll tell you about another time.
Very cool.
That's a keeper, that one, for sure.
That's really cool.
Well, it'll make its way to the set with the other one, of course.
Yeah, exactly. You got a collection going there.
You know it.
How the hell are you, man?
I'm good. Still growing the beard. Getting ready to travel. Heading out of town tomorrow and new adventures.
Where are you going tomorrow?
Tomorrow is a real journey. I'm off to New York for a couple of days, and then Hannah and I off to Toronto on Tuesday for the world premiere debut of the Porsche Taycan. I know you guys are thinking it's been out already, but in reality that is the Mission E concept. So Taycan debut at Niagara Falls Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday I fly to Hamburg. I do an event in Hamburg over the weekend. Then I go to the Frankfurt Auto Show.
Well, this is why you're in a hurry. You got a schedule to keep, for God's sake.
And then from Frankfurt I go to Norway to do something in Oslo, and then from Oslo I fly to Paris, do something with Wheeler Dealers, and then do a rally That's a drive from Paris to Saint-Tropez. So
Wow.
that's essentially what I'm doing between now and like September 20th.
Holy schmoly.
Yeah.
2 questions. Do
Okay.
you keep your own schedule, or does somebody else keep it for you? Because
No,
that's
I
a
keep
lot.
it. I
Good-
keep it.
Good for you. And what are you doing with the Wheeler Dealers guys? Is it just Mike? Is it just Ant? Is it somebody else?
Well, it's a French version. You know, when it comes to schedule, it's
Ah.
me and this thing, the iPhone. So pretty much I take care of all my life on that phone. And then Wheeler Dealers, you know, it's now a franchise. So
oh, I didn't realize
I know
that.
Mike and Ant, that's the UK version, the original one, and the US version. And there's a French version,
Didn't realize.
which is run by this guy called Jerry. Vive la France, Jerry. So I met Jerry a couple of years ago in Paris during one of my outlaw gatherings. Anyway, they're doing a Porsche segment. Apparently, I'm going over to talk Porsche in France, in French.
But you
Vive
say
la
apparently,
France.
didn't you set that up since you were holding your schedule? Or do you have an agent?
No, I set it up.
Yeah, everything is through you, right?
Yeah,
You're
there's
the guy. If somebody wants you, they have to call you.
Yeah, there's no agent. You know, I mean, people try to get a hold of me all the time. Someone got a hold of me today. It was great. Sends me a little text. It's something to do with Top Gear and Motor Trend. I go, yeah, it sounds fun. I like the Three Stooges. I'm all in. The guy goes, well, I'll contact you next week. I go, hey, call me right now. I'm ready to talk right now. So, you know, I'm one of those guys that I like to take care of things when they happen, because next week, who knows where I am, and that's where things get lost in the shuffle.
Were you
So-
always that way, or did that come from seizing opportunity when you were younger?
I think I was always pretty organized. I was always kind of like the lone wolf, one-man army. Never, you know, so used to doing things on my own, so to speak. But for me, if I don't take care of it right now,
Oh, it might
it's
go
gone.
away. Yeah.
Well, it's not even that it might go away. More than likely, I'll forget about it. I'll never find the email. You know, so for me, it's
Yes.
seize the moment. It's a carpe diem thing.
Well, you
If
might be
it's
teaching
right-
me something. 'cause
if
I
it's right in
sometimes will
front
put
of
it
me,
away, and that's exactly what happens.
do it right now.
disappears.
Because, you know, sometimes, you know, I'm trying to search an email, punching in the keywords, I can't find it, and then 18 other things crop up, and, you know, someone will go, hey, I emailed you, you never got back to me. So it's like, if it's something I'm interested in, I'm on it straight away and make it happen.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that's sort of how I work, book my own travel, book my own things. You know, I'm approachable, people can get hold of me pretty easy, I'm relatable, so I think it's easy to find me if you want to find me.
It's kind of amazing because I would consider you very famous at the same time. Has that? You don't act famous. You don't act like a famous guy.
I don't
You don't
see
have
it
all
that
the
way.
stuff that attaches with fame, including the I don't want to be around people.
I don't see it that way at all. You know, I mean, people may recognize the beard. The beard's getting grayer. I do a lot of beard conventions all over the world, but you know, I have time on my hands. You know, I'm a big believer in make the most out of every moment. If the opportunity seems right, I go for it. That's pretty much it. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid. That's my motto.
Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss.
Exactly. Give me a Gene Simmons.
Well, you mentioned that you drove your 951 here today.
Yeah, the 5.1. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in love with it.
I used to call it a 951 because people used to give me crap when I was 19 years old
944.
having a 944 of
Yeah.
any variety because it just wasn't cool at the time.
Well, you
So
must
it's
have been
the
cool.
same?
944 turbo, yeah.
Ah.
The cool kids call it the 5.1, so you must have been cool knowing it was the
Who
5.1.
knew?
as a
Who knew?
19-year-old. Yeah.
I read a couple books back then. How are you liking that car? Is that your most recent purchase? It's not your most recent purchase.
It actually is. I purchased it 2.5 weeks ago at the Pomona Swap Meet, the
Oh.
world's greatest place. So
Isn't that where you bought your you bought other cars there?
I've
yeah?
bought a lot of cars at the Pomona Swap Meet. I've been going there for 27 years. Wow. I bought my first Porsche there, the infamous slant nose, in 1992.
At a swap meet?
Pomona Swap Meet.
That's crazy.
I bought a lot of cars there. I bought
It's a
I
it's a
bought the
pretty
car
big
that
deal.
became 277 at the Pomona Swap Meet in 1999. I bought a Super B there. I bought a lot of cars at Pomona Swap Meet. But Hannah had never gone to the Pomona Swap Meet. So, and the Pomona Swap Meet's a really odd
It's an
schedule.
experience.
It's not like the second week of every month. It's like every 8-9 weeks or something.
Isn't it when they want to throw
It's
it?
kind of when they want to throw it.
So you have to really want to go and
Well-
pay attention.
Yeah,
Pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, the greatest thing about the Pomona Swap Meet is everything is there. You know, from the Porsche guys, there's a huge VW Buck contingency, huge Americana contingency from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Awesome parts.
It may be worth stating. It's massive. It's huge.
It's at the Fairplex in Pomona. It is huge. It's a swap meet, car club gathering / parts place. And it's everything from used parts to fridges to enamel signs. But, you know,
I've seen people sell boats there.
Yeah, I said to Hannah, you know, the one thing I love about the Pomona Swap Meet is if you go looking for something, you don't find it. So I used to go with a pocket full of cash and a empty van looking for Porsche parts. This was like 20 years ago, before people got wise and started putting stuff on the internet. So I went with Hannah 2 weeks ago, not looking for anything. But of course, in my mind, I have a shopping list of cars that are on the list. And the Porsche Corral has really shrunken down. When I started going there 25, 30 years ago, there were probably 40, 50 Porsches. Now you're lucky to find 10. But there it was, champagne
I'm
gold.
sure the prices have changed a bit as well.
1988 944 turbo. And
What's the interior?
it's chocolate brown,
Okay.
redone with brown carpet in really mint shape.
Wow.
So
That
anyway,
sounds
I
kinda
call the
pretty.
guy up. There's a number on the car. I call him up. 3 minutes later, he's there. 5 minutes later, we've worked out a deal. He actually, lived in Pomona, and Hannah and I went and picked it up on the Monday, like whatever that is, 17 days ago. Picked it up on the Monday, and I've been driving it ever since.
Gosh.
So that actually was a missing piece to my what I call Vaseka-cooled front-engine water-cooled transaxle collection, which is now, I've got quite a few of them now. So it's 924s, 928s, 944. Recently, I bought two 968s. But the missing piece to the puzzle was I had a 944 normally aspirated. Missing piece was
You had bought that right before you arrived here last year.
the black one.
Yeah, and you drove it here.
That was a $3,500 car that Alex from Sharkworks found me in NorCal. The turbo that I just acquired wasn't that much more money. I think it was a smoking deal. I'm super happy with it. And I've literally driven it every day since then.
Were you waiting for the right deal or the right car, the right color? Were you waiting? Why were you waiting? That would have been the first transaxle car I personally would have bought. It was.
Timing's everything. Of course, I sort of thought I wanted a Turbo S, with the
waiting for the
silver
right one.
rose and the tartan interior. And then I saw how expensive they'd become. That was a car you used to be able to pick up in the teens in great shape.
Right.
Now it's like a Turbo S is like a, 30, 40 grand car.
Good
Which
grief.
the way I sort of acquire Porsches, I can get 2 or 3 of them for that price.
That's also
The
probably
way-
more than what they were new, right?
Yeah,
I
probably
remember them
was.
being like, I think mine was $38,000 was the sticker, and it was pretty well optioned.
So, yeah, the one I acquired was just in great shape at the right time. Struck up a deal with the guy. He was a PCA club member, San Gabriel region. The car's been a lifelong California car.
Cool.
Has 131,000 miles on it, but it's been redone. Runs great. And what I love about it is it's kind of like stepping back in time to the 80s.
Yeah.
It's a little under the radar. There's no power under 3,000 RPM. You got to thrash the nuts off it, but I'm living every minute of it.
I
actually just made a video on the car last week in the Crest, so stay tuned.
When you first got in it, was your opinion, you seem to love it now, was that your opinion when you first got behind the wheel? I'm only asking because I had to learn how to drive mine, and I thought that the car was underpowered. It didn't handle as well as they thought, blah, 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 didn't rotate. And then I found that if you beat the piss out of it, it's incredible.
Well, I actually never drove it before I bought it.
Okay.
I walked around. I mean, I decided straight away. When the guy came, we decided on the price. I didn't drive it. I didn't need to drive it. I'd driven it before. I'd driven 944s before. I always dive in at the deep end with any car.
Okay.
I have a motto: expect the worst, hope for the best. So
You can't
first time
lose
I
then.
drove it
Can't
was on the
lose.
way back home, and it kind of drove like I thought it would drive. You do have to thrash the nuts off it. It's funny. I have a 968. I have 2 of them. One's a 95. It's like the last year of that, and there's a huge difference between the 2 cars. The 968's 3-liter. 4-cylinder non-turbocharged.
Yeah, naturally, yeah.
More
aspirated.
bottom end, more torque. You don't have to thrash that quite as much. You don't have to rev it quite as much. It's a 6-speed. It's more rounded. It looks more like a 993 as opposed to the boxy,
Right.
iconic 924, 944
Chassis and
shape.
platform-wise, though, they're the same car, right?
Yeah,
the tunnel's
pretty
the
similar,
same.
yeah.
I mean, the interior, I think, is
Yeah,
remarkably
driving
similar.
position's the same. The driving position's more sort of lean back than the 911. There's plenty of headroom in it. Ergonomics are great.
Is there
Visibility's
enough
great.
headroom for you?
I
You
can
don't
wear
have
the
to
cowboy
lay-
hat in it.
No shit.
That's the new test. I can wear the cowboy hat.
It really surprises me, though, because I sat in a friend's thinking I'd get all nostalgic and
Yeah.
want one of these cars again, and I found that after the 911, I'm laying down, I just didn't dig
The
it.
difference is, the steering wheel's closer to your knees. I have noticed that. It's not quite as easy to slide into it as is the 911. But if the hat fits, I'm all about it. Hannah and I just drove up to Monterey Car Week. We drove up in a Lamborghini Hurricane Evo press car.
Oh,
For the record, the hat doesn't fit in that car. We drove back down in a Lotus Evora GT. For the record, the hat fits in the Lotus. So,
wow.
if you wear hats and you want to know what car you can wear your hat in, just give me a bell.
It's the important things.
Yeah, it's the important thing.
I'm wearing my Newcomb shirt today to
I see that.
show support. I feel like we're probably the two biggest social proponents of that
One of my
place out
favorite
there.
places, yeah.
Us as well. We see you out there all the time. Thank you for stopping in on Breakfast Club whenever you're in the area. We have some social media questions from
Okay.
some of the folks, if
All
you don't
right,
mind getting
here
to
we
some
go.
of that stuff. We'll go to Instagram first.
Yeah, go to the gram. I'm all about the IG.
Yeah, you prefer that? All right. You're just going to go down the list if that's all right
Do
with
it
you.
for the gram.
From Rocket Tiki Motorsports.
I know that guy. He's a NorCal guy. He's friends with Sharky.
He is. We've
Yeah.
got his sticker over here as well.
George,
Different Shark Works.
I got it.
But
Jackie.
good on you.
Yeah, good on you.
Good on you for knowing George.
Yeah, big shout out to Alex and my buddies up there at Sharkworks. If you want to go fast and make a lot of noise, go see Sharkworks.
Yeah, I think we saw you in one. Did they have a 964? Or were you driving a 964?
Yeah,
theirs
the
at one
red
point?
964, yeah, which is an awesome car.
Yeah, that was
You know,
pretty
that's
cool.
kind of like, Sharkworks initially was known for, great handling, loud, big horsepower, water-cooled 996.7s and 991s, but
Seeing you get in a little air.
also I always say you need air and water to survive, so, you got to have both of those.
Look at you.
All right, well, Rocket Tiki would like to know, what's the plan for the Outlaw store?
The Outlaw store is currently on hold, on hiatus, needs to be upgraded, needs to be refreshed.
Is this the same as the Atelier that we came and visited?
Two different things. The
Okay.
Atelier is like a pop-up store / gallery that
Thanks
sort
also
of
for the
houses, a bunch of stuff that people send me that I put on the wall. That, if you happen to be there on the one rare day that it's open, you could get some Outlaw gear. Our buddy up there in NorCal is talking about the online store.
Okay.
I had a big sale a couple of weeks ago, $10 T-shirts, basically to
Oh, yeah, I
close
saw
out
that,
everything
yeah.
out.
So that was a blowout getting
That was
rid
kind of a blowout. For me, I travel a lot. The site is a little antiquated. I haven't focused on it. I don't even wear my own product. You don't see me promoting it. too
Yeah,
much.
it's the other hat now.
Yeah,
my
it's
goodness.
just kind of there. But I decided it needs to be refreshed, so I've temporarily closed it down.
Well, you think about what to do because you're not going to do the same thing again.
I just need to find someone. I started it 7 years ago with an app that's not iPhone friendly or smartphone friendly. Need some new designs. And for me, it's all about motivation, and I'm not motivated in that little area right now, so it's not a priority for me. So it's just
that
less,
speaks to me.
just
That's
less
not what I'm
hassle
thinking
to
about.
close it down. That way you don't have to disappoint people that start questioning where's their order or something like that.
His secondary is back up there. And when are you coming up to the Loop to drive with us?
Oh yeah, the top secret loop that we can't talk about, right? One of those favorite NorCal roads.
LUPPE.
Yeah. It's another story about the loop. It's one of those things that it exists. It's a public road, but certain people don't like you to talk about the loop because
Well, it publicized and then we ruined the Loop. Right?
yeah, it's a fine line. It's like talking about the crest, right? People think they own the crest, but it's a road that's been there since the 20s or something. So
Yeah, exactly.
the trip up to the loop, I was actually on the loop not too long ago, yet again with Hannah and a press drive that involved the Bentley, but we didn't talk about that. But the loop's an awesome road in any particular car, and hopefully I'll be up there
It's on the
driving
list.
something Sharkified pretty soon.
There you go. That's a nice answer. This is from Luke, Porsche 911. Will he come to Newcomb's this Friday and bring the 277?
The answer to that is no. I'll be on a plane to New York City tomorrow, but there is an Outlaw sticker up at Newcomb's, so scratch that.
There are plenty.
We'll wait back.
There are plenty. Let's see. Brian Cheney, 962. Mrs. Ryan 111, it's time to ask the question that's on everyone's mind. Magnus, when did you begin growing your massive dreadlocks, and what is their significance in your life?
Well, the dreadlocks started, I guess, in the 90s. I'd always been rock and roll, heavy metal. That period, it was my hair was teased out, back combed. So
Oh
it went
my
from
God,
blonde
where are the
to
pictures of
It
this?
kind of went, well, they're in the book, actually.
Oh,
There are
really?
pictures in the book.
I
Yes.
don't. Yeah, we have the book. I didn't remember seeing any of that.
Well, you got to look at the pictures. That's all I do. I don't read. I haven't read the book, but I've looked at the pictures. So there's a couple of phases.
The book's
80s.
great.
Thank you very much.
Together, we've taken it all in.
This is going to be a long answer, so I don't know how much time we got, but I'll condense it. The 80s were what I will call the Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Poison, Hanoi Rocks, Peroxide, Spiky Hair. The 90s were more what I would call the Marilyn Manson, Trent Reznor. The hair was dyed black, and red. But the question as to how the dreadlocks came in, they sort of came in accidentally. I didn't wash my hair very often. I didn't comb it very often. It was back combed, crimped, and teased.
The usual way.
So it was matted. Yeah, the usual way. So, it was like a Rob Zombie thing, It was the 90s. It was grunge. It was dreadlocks. And then the dreads morphed into the Marilyn Manson type of thing. And then the beard came because I got sick of shaving. The beard came in like 2001. So I've had, this pre-beard before 2001, and then there's post-beard, which is like the past 18
But
years.
still dreads. Always dreads?
Yeah, what's happening now is I have less dreads, that my hair's thinning, I'm 52, the dreads are sort of falling out, the hair's turning gray. So
I'm having all the same issues.
There's less of it, I always said, I don't want to cut my hair because I don't want to be like Samson and lose my strength, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening now is it's just naturally
Life does it for you.
fading. Yeah, and I'm going with the flow. I'm adapting to the new environment. I look at
good
photos
for you.
like, the beard was longer years ago. I go, why is my beard not down to the waist now? But I guess a lot of people trim the beard. For me, the beard was all about no maintenance.
Right.
So,
That was the whole point.
I never trimmed it. So I guess that's the long answer to dreadlocks and the beard.
I didn't think it was that long. I found it quite interesting.
Yeah.
As a fellow beardo.
Beardos and weirdos.
Ren 11. If you had to move back to the UK, would you move back to Sheffield or relocate to a different area?
Great
That's an
question.
interesting question.
I don't think I can go back. I was 52. I've spent 33 years in LA, 19 years in Sheffield. I just became a U.S. citizen a couple of
Congrats.
months ago.
Congratulations.
So I'm more Americanized than I am Anglo. I kept dual citizenship. I travel on dual passports. But I've spent 33 years in LA. I suppose if I had to move back, Sheffield's a great place to be, but the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah. That's a tough one. Going home again is
Nice
tough.
place to visit. Every time I go there, there's elements that I really like, and then there's elements that are super frustrating. Like trying to drive somewhere is kind of frustrating.
That was my question.
Speed
Do they
cameras
drive
everywhere.
Porsches there? Like, is it a thing?
Yeah, there are Porsches there. It's a different culture there. One of the worst drives I ever did was from Goodwood, Festival of Speed, which is way south, to Sheffield on a Sunday at like 4 in the afternoon. It took 5 or 6 hours. And people say LA traffic's bad, but go to England. If you're on the motorway, what we'd call freeways, there's these designated speed zones that last forever, and they're like 35, 40, 50 miles an hour. If you're on the B road,
tedium.
you're stuck behind tractors and caravans, and it's difficult to pass. So I find driving there not as free as it is here in California. Truth be told, I've gone around the world. Nothing beats the accessibility to what we have here within an hour of where we're
so
at.
lucky.
Ocean, desert, mountain.
And options no less. Not even like the one thing.
Yeah, and you can do it all year round. It's like my buddies in Europe, like in the next 2 months, they're going to start putting their cars away for the winter.
East
We
Coast,
don't
same
even think
thing.
about that,
Yeah.
right? That's why you can drive around on Hoosiers with no heat and no wipers and not worry about it. Pretty much 365.
It's the greatest, right?
Yeah.
We're writing the rules as we go.
Exactly. So, if you like to drive, move to California.
This is a good one. It's a two-parter. The first one, whatever, but the second part I think is very interesting. Why does he always decide to go to Breakfast Club when I'm not there? That's probably hard to answer if you don't know this person. This is
'Cause
from,
I know
this
you're
is
not-
from Kevin Yee, by the way.
Exactly.
From Yeezus.
I know when you're gonna be
But
there.
this is actually kind of interesting just from a logistics standpoint. Also, how long does it take to move cars around when you decide you want something from the back row?
It's a great question, which just happened to me last week. I'm kind of getting tight on space in the garage because I keep acquiring these cars because one's never enough. And so, I had to move. Long story short, I just parked my white 79 928 in the back room of the garage. That's next to the Lotus.
Okay.
When things go back there, they tend not to come out very often. But to get that car back there, I have 3 rows of 5 cars. But the way I was moving things around, I ended up having to move about 6 cars. And, of course, I actually documented it on the Instagram because if it's not on the gram, it doesn't happen. And this was last Monday. But the great thing
Should I
about
just
this...
respond to him, check Magnus's profile?
Well, the gram's gone because it was part of the story.
I see. Okay.
But the answer to the question is I had to move 6 cars to get one where I wanted it. But the great part about this particular move is every car that I moved actually started, which is a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Because sometimes if they don't start and you got to push them, it can become pretty tedious.
Do you run it? I would assume that you run into that far more often, right?
Cars that don't start?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not one of those guys that runs the trickle charger because, I hate the way they look with the hood open and wires everywhere. So I disconnect batteries on my cars.
Oh, okay.
And
You
so,
do something.
Yeah, I disconnect all the ones that I know I'm not going to be driving. So there's always something in the back that you got to move, and it can either be a couple of minutes or it can be an hour if you got to push things and jump start things. And put some air in tires, but for the most part, they tend to start the majority of the time.
It's pretty darn good. I'm just trying. The last time I saw you, I think was the 996 up at Newcomb's.
Oh yeah, GT3.
GT3, and then the guy who coincidentally had hosted a show with Jesse Combs. That's why the three of us started talking. I think he got you going in the whole bit.
Yeah, if you want to know the story, what happened there, I talked about disconnecting battery cables, right? So
you figured it out. You know what happened.
I know exactly
what
happened.
Okay, because this was perplexing for a while.
Well, okay, here's the answer to my GT3 story, not starting at Newcomb's Ranch. I had an awesome drive when I got there. I do always park by the Newcomb's Ranch sign. There's a reason I do that. That reason is if my car never doesn't start, chances are I can bump it before I get to Newcomb's. What had happened this time was, though, I disconnected. The GT3 is kind of an odd thing because it's one of those things, if the battery goes dead and the hood is closed, you cannot open the hood with the little switch without pulling out the fuse box and getting the battery jumper thing, which is a pain in the neck to do. So what had happened was I hadn't checked. My guy Serge had reconnected the battery, but he hadn't tightened it down. And I just assumed it was good to go when I got and started the car. Went for a nice spirited blast up the crest, and what had happened is the battery cables, not one but both of them, had actually hopped off the battery.
Wow.
So then you tried to jump it, right? From the little fuse panel, which wouldn't stop because the cables were not connected to the battery.
Isn't that a riot?
And then, of course, we couldn't pop the hood.
Same problem.
Same problem. So that only works if the cables are actually connected to the battery. So it was lesson 101, idiot mistake for me. I should have checked it, but I assumed my guy had actually tightened the
but once
clamp
you
down.
pop the car, once you got the car running, you could then pop the hood and you could check.
Yeah, the only way to start at that point was the bump start, old school, which I'd attempted to do myself rolling down because, it's not cool when you can't jump start your car in front of a bunch of hipsters at the Friday Club at Newcomb's, right? And everyone's out there talking about it. But of course, I didn't have quite enough momentum to do that. So once I got the big push, then I casually drove back down. Derek actually followed me down. Wasn't until I got to the bottom when I popped the hood and I realized, fuck, not one but both cables were disconnected.
That's nuts.
Nuts. So
we wouldn't have figured that out.
You guys would not have figured that out, but that's why I'm here today, just to set the record straight. So the moral to the story is if you haven't driven a car in some time, always check the battery cables, make sure they are actually tightened down.
Also a great lesson of park at the top, just so that you have a little bit of grace,
always
leeway.
Park at the top. That way you can roll down on a good day, bump start your car before the hipsters at the Breakfast Club find out that you had
hipsters again. Moving on. Let's see.
What else we got?
Farrington 992. Farrington 1973 would like to know 992 slant nose turbo. Could it happen? Would you like to see it happen?
It's already happened.
992?
Yeah, I think it's already happening.
Oh, they're already doing it. All right. Well, there you go. So there's that. Nice.
I'm a big slant nose fan.
You got one recently.
I recently got one, the red one, which ironically was a 74 slant nose conversion, the same as the one I bought a bigger version of the one that I bought at the Pomona Swap Meet back in 1992, which was the first one. This is a great story, the slant nose story. I'd been sort of hunting all over. I'd even gone down to Miami and looked at some real big turbo Kramer DP cars. I'd looked at everything from that type of thing to factory slant nose to aftermarket kits. And nothing quite seemed right. Some were cheap, some were expensive, but none of them kind of felt right. And then the one I acquired happened to be here in LA at a perfect price, and the deal just sort of fell together. And the icing on the cake, not that it matters, but it's a real 74 US Carrera. It's got a 2.7 RS MFI motor in it. So at this point, it's kind of all show no go.
Somebody did the work, yeah.
Because what it really needs is a big turbo motor, but that's a slippery slope, and that's a job for another time.
But you have the car now.
I have the car. I do drive it. It's awesome. You can't see out of the back of it. It's wide. The wing's huge. Ticks all the boxes. Just needs to go faster and stop better.
Do you find that, like when you go to the Pomona Spot Meet when you're looking for a part or not looking for a part, do you find that not looking for these cars specifically, like the 944 or the slant nose, allows the perfect fucking thing to come up at the right time? It's almost like not being zoomed in allows you to...
I've got stories all the time of, I throw something out there. It's just like 2 days ago, back on the gram, all of a sudden I'm all excited about I'm on this water-cooled kick, and I like the beginning of everything. So, I had the 64 911. The newest car I have is the infamous GT3, which is one of my favorites. The 996 Gen 2 04 GT3. Awesome car. But, of course, I want to start with the beginning of the water-cooled, the Vasica-cooled, the 996 Gen 1 99. So I started looking around for one. My buddy had a GT2, which was too much money. The turbos have already become sort of expensive. I already have the GT3. So I was looking for a Gen 1 GT3, which was a car that was never federalized, never imported into the States. They don't exist here. I go, how hard can that be? So, get online, right? I find a bunch of them in Europe, Gen 1 996 GT3.
So they had the old headlights and everything? They're just GT3s?
It's a Gen 1 GT3 with
No
a big,
kidding.
ugly fried headlight, which I actually kind of like.
I kind of do too.
The challenge is you can't get them in the country.
Federalize?
They
Can't
weren't
federalize?
federalized. They're not on whatever the list is to bring them in, which the GT3 RS is. So there's like the legal way to do it and the fun way to do it, and there's two different ways to do it. But the legal way is you got to get a bond before you can import the car into the country. It has to go into a federalized place where it's brought up to DOT standards. If the car's over 21 years old, it doesn't have to go through the emissions process, but that would mean finding a 99 and then waiting a couple of months to 2020. So it's kind of an expensive thing that can take up to 4 to 6 months, and the cost to actually do it is over 50% of the cost of the car. So that then made me think, wow, I don't want to be in a Gen 1 GT3 for that amount of money. That amount of money would sort of enable me to buy 5 944s
Right.
or
That's
or
always
even
been
more,
your- yeah,
something
absolutely.
like that. So then I started looking for like a Gen 1 996 in an unusual color. And then I started thinking, wow, well, if I can't get the GT3, why don't I just get an Aero Kit car? Gen 1 996 Aero Kit. There's quite a lot of those out there. So I put it out on Instagram. Wanted Gen 1 996 with Aero Kit.
Oh, I saw that the other day.
48 hours ago. I must have, I'll be honest, I've probably got about 100 emails of people offering me cars. From like, the lowest is 12 grand, the most expensive is 39. And there's a sweet magic spot in the 20s where there's quite a lot of these cars. Unfortunately, they all tend to be like lapis blue with like a tan interior, which is not my choice color. So, that's the answer to your question is sometimes I'll put something on the Instagram and I get inundated with way too many options on cars.
Yeah.
Now I've got like 18 people sending me the same car that they saw on Renlist or Pelican or eBay or whatever.
But are you able to see through that? Are you able to have the focus to see through that, all of that? Because I am not. And that's why I was asking. I'm more the type who needs to stay zoomed out and then the right thing will come to me.
Works both ways for me. It's like
Okay.
the 944. I looked at 944 951 Turbo. I looked at one. It's the one I bought.
Okay.
So it all depends on the car. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Fair enough.
That's kind of how I acquire cars. I am looking for, if anyone's got one out there, another one, because I'm all about one of everything, front engine, mid-engine, rear engine. So what I'm missing is I have the 914 we saw Ray Schaefer talk about.
Yeah.
914, Tina Time, the 50th anniversary. So I have a 914. What I'm missing is a first-gen Cayman, which is going to cover mid-engine water-cooled. So I'm looking for a Gen 1 Cayman S, or I'm also looking for a Cayman R, one of those two.
But no Boxster. You like
No,
the
it's too much.
hard top?
Too much beard in the wind. Too much, wind in the beard in the hair type of thing. I like a roof.
Yeah.
So I like a Cayman. One of my faves obviously is the Sharkworks GT4, but that's it's an awesome car, but it's kind of an expensive.
Do you
car.
find that car almost? I've never driven the Sharkworks, but even the GT4 almost too good. I don't have a lot of fun
No.
with it on the Crest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not on the Crest. I didn't
How
have
can
a
you
lot
not
of
have a
fun
lot
on
of
the
fun with that on the Crest?
I don't know. It was so fast, and it was almost not like I couldn't. Maybe I'm not good enough driver. Maybe it could be very
What's
well
the
be
fastest you've ever gone in the Crest?
that. You mean gone?
Miles per hour. Speed.
I don't know, 55, I'm sure.
That's the speed limit. Okay, all right, we'll leave it at that.
I mean, there are some straights.
Yeah. Straightish bits where you can do 55.
You can probably maybe push 55,
Yeah,
maybe a
okay.
little bit more.
That's good. We got any
No,
more?
I mean,
we got any more questions?
No.
on this, sir?
What was I want to know what was the line of questioning you were going to go had I answered 100 miles an hour?
Well, you said it was too fast in the Crest. So that just made
I
me
think it might be me. Maybe I'm not a good enough driver to break it loose and have fun with it. It's almost like the limits are so
Yeah,
good
so
that
high. Yeah.
I have more fun going right at the limit or on the limit of a car that doesn't go quite as fast.
Are you always driving the yellow car in the Crest?
We'll take it up there. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll drive almost everything once
Yeah.
we're up there.
I was just up there in a Lotus Evora GT. And I've driven a lot of cars in the Crest, from my own cars to stuff like Pagani Huayra, and everything else in between, McLarens and Lamborghinis and stuff like that. But there's something awesome about that Evora GT. I got to tell you, it's super balanced, easy to drive. You can wear the hat in it. You can get two 22-inch luggage cases in it. It's a funny thing. Hannah and I went up to Pebble, right? We couldn't get the luggage in the Lambo, but we brought it all back down in the Lotus.
Oh, man.
So I'm a Lotus fan. You know, I've got that Lotus Esprit.
Well, how is the Evora? Yeah, comparatively, how is the Evora to say an Elise or a Evoque, something else? Not Evoque, but the other one of the
super
time.
practical. I mean, you can. Well, there's no comparison to something of the time. As much as I love that S279 Esprit I've got.
Oh, well,
it's cool,
yeah.
but it's antiquated. It's hard to get in. It's hard to get out. It's not that fast. It doesn't stop that good, but it's
so
nimble.
good looking.
It is good looking. The Evora GT, I got to admit, I put 500 miles, over 500 miles on that car. Just super practical. You don't. It's not low enough where you have to lift the nose when you're coming into a gas station. You can get in and out of it. It's ergonomically comfortable. You don't get out of it with backache. You can really go pretty fast.
Don't take this the wrong way. I would almost call it bland.
I don't think it's bland.
No, I've never driven one, but design-wise, I'm looking at it. It's almost like I like it because it's got
It's got an odd engine noise. It's that supercharged whine. But I would say it's as fast in the
Super 4.
I would say it's as fast in the crest as a 570 McLaren.
Having never driven one, I'll take your word for it. But that's something.
All right, moving on from the crest.
Oh my goodness gracious! That's all I wanted to talk about.
You guys were up at Monterey, right?
We did not. We canceled at the last minute.
You didn't go?
No, the last minute that Thursday we couldn't walk.
I know you were going.
We were.
It's crazy up there.
We talked before about the famous thing. Has fame changed you in any way? Because I know you don't act like you're famous, but you are famous.
I don't see it that way, so no.
Okay.
I got more gray hair. Maybe that changed.
Well, that's time. That's not anything. Music. I know that you were always into music. You talk about being Mr. Rock and Roll. Do you play any instruments?
I do. I can strum a few chords. The crazy thing is Hannah's learning to play guitar. I end up getting
Do we have a band coming here?
Yeah, we got a band called Neon Jesus. It's funny. In the East Village, there's a church on the I guess it's on 10th Street down by A and B. Anyway, they have a sign that it's neon that says Jesus. It's a cross.
I've driven past it.
So we're like, oh, that's that band, Neon Jesus. But I play guitar. Hannah's learning to play guitar. Guitar falls into a couple of categories. It's like cars, right? And watches, It's like, are you a Ferrari guy or a Porsche guy? Are you a Rolex guy or an Amiga guy? Are you a Fender guy or a Gibson guy? I'm a Gibson guy. So, we got this apartment in New York. I can strum a few chords. I can make some noise. So I acquired a couple of Gibson SGs, which I love those guitars. Tony Iommi, Angus Young, various other people.
Sure.
So I'm a Gibson guy. I'm a Guild EB110 semi-acoustic hollow body guy.
Wow. Is that the Marty McFly guitar? Wasn't that a hollow body Gibson?
Probably. Yeah. I don't recall that. I just recall the car. But it's a hollow body single cutout.
There's a car in that movie. I forgot about that.
You're talking about Back to the Future?
What do you mean that car?
Yeah, music. What was the question?
What's Hannah playing?
Yeah, there you go. She's starting the guitar, it sounds like.
Here's a really cute thing. I have two SGs. One's white, one's brown. The brown one's got different pickups. Sounds grungier. So Hannah was telling me she was learning to play the guitar. I said, which one? She goes, oh, the SG. But yet they were both SGs. So it was kind of a funny, cute thing that one's white, one's brown. So she likes the SG and it makes noise. She bought me a Marshall amp for my birthday.
Half stack?
So, no, it's a little combo, like a
nice.
30-watt combo thing that's way too loud for the little apartment in New York. I crank, the distortion up, but the volume's not even one. But it's got this real grungy, muddy sound. So now Hannah's learning to play guitar. She sends me a little video of her singing along to Three Little Birdies. So she learned that. And then the cool thing that she learned was the intro riff to Nirvana, Come As You Are.
Oh, I don't know any Nirvana.
Oh, how can you not know Nirvana?
Well, I didn't care for him. Can you believe that?
It's funny. I'm driving here in the 5.1. I've got the radio on. For some reason, I'm listening to the radio in that car. It actually works. Nirvana song comes on. It just took me back to early
the 90s. Yeah, for sure. I was at Pearl Jam. I was around. For whatever reason, though, I was playing a lot of jazz at the time. I was a musician and playing drums and piano, and I was doing tons of jazz. And for some reason, they were just a bunch of angry kids from the other side of the country for me, and I couldn't figure it out.
You didn't relate to grunge.
No, I didn't at the time.
I mean, it's crazy.
Ironically, I got it about 10 years later.
It's crazy to think Kurt Cobain has been gone 25 years.
I was at 30 Rock where I started my career. I was the first day I was ever there was the day that I was in the newsroom when it came over the wire that he had committed suicide.
Crazy.
Whatever day that was, in
That
whatever
was your
year that
first
was. That was
day?
my first day at NBC. It was
Jeez.
1994, I think.
94.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Yeah. So
I
I'll
believe
never
that.
forget it, even though I'm not.
You weren't wearing
I
flannel
wasn't
and
affected,
grungy. Yeah.
but I felt it in the building. You would think, I mean,
Yeah.
it sucked the air out of the building. And was Nirvana a big thing for you, other than the nostalgia now? It didn't fit into the Rob Zombie and the Marilyn Manson
It was
stuff
the
you were
same
mentioning.
era, obviously completely different. You know, they were like the anti-glam rock, not the, you know, they were more the anti-Guns N' Roses type of thing.
Yeah, okay.
But it all went together. It was all great. One of the coolest concerts I ever saw was Soundgarden down at the Olympic Auditorium in downtown LA. I actually never saw Nirvana. I had a chance to see him at the Palace, and for whatever reason didn't go. It's just one of those things, you know.
All right. But music is still important to you. It sounds like you're doing maybe even some stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe,
you know, Hannah
maybe.
and I getting
At
the
least
Neon
having fun.
Jesus band together. There'll be a new single coming out pretty soon. Now, you know, for me, it's funny. I stick Pandora on. I've got like a playlist. It's everything from White Buffalo Radio to Serge Ginsburg to Air Radio. All depends on the mood. You know, sometimes I just like chill ambient in the background.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's Chris Stapleton or White Buffalo
I
or
like
Rolling
Chris Stapleton,
Stones
too.
or, you know, it's always more rock sort of related / ambient. You know, I'm not into techno. I don't really listen to hip
I
hop.
can't see you
What do you mean?
trancing out.
Maybe if it's some real ambient dub trance, you
No.
know, Portishead, Massive Attack, I could go there.
Massive Attack, all right.
You know, sometimes
everything but the girl.
Sometimes I like to not sometimes, a lot of times I like to decompress, you know, just.
How do you?
Isolation.
You're on the road all the time, and I feel like when we see you on the crest, I think of that as decompression for you. What do you do?
Well, the driving is the therapy, so that is decompression time. If I'm out of the car, you know, I'm one of those people that when I travel, it's what I call 530-second conversations. Talk all the time. You're like rabbit on the hamster a little bit. But you see new people, new places, new moments. When I'm in LA, I'm kind of a little bit of a recluse in that sense. You know, I'll go drive. But I have a little radius. You know, I walk a lot. I don't really leave that radius of the Arts District
that's
unless
nice.
I'm driving somewhere. And so, you know, sometimes you just got to close the gate and, you know,
So
sit
it's
in the
almost
garage.
when you're home, when you're here, you're on base, and you can kind of relax a little bit. Just when you're in town, almost that is your base.
Yeah, the challenge here now is people just show up all the time. And
Oh,
this
at
has
your
been
pla- at
happening
your-
a couple of years, yeah. I mean, you've been there, you know, it's not a performance
We were
shot.
invited. We didn't show.
Yeah, and yeah, I didn't say you were not invited. I said you've been there, so you know the space. The
Yeah.
challenge now is people just show up, and it happens daily, several times a day, and
This is that fame thing I was talking about.
they always
before,
kind of
though.
come at the inopportune moment.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
When
great.
you're moving 6 cars around, kind of thing.
You either move. Well, when I'm doing that, the gate is always closed.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, you know, you're either coming or going, you're starving, you're just going to next door to eat or something, or something's not quite working out right, or it always seems to be the wrong time when people show up.
What do they come for?
You
That's
know,
a great question.
they're in the neighborhood, they get out of the minivan, you know, generally most of the time the scenario is European tourists. I had seven of them in a minivan the other day. So they're in California for 2 weeks. They're doing, you know, they're doing the usual loop: San Diego, LA, Vegas, Death Valley, San Francisco. They're all car guys, car families.
You're a stop on
And
that.
I'm a
gonna
stop
say.
off. I'm a stop off on the tour.
Okay.
And it happens every day, multiple times
Wow.
a day.
Wow.
So, you know, I've got the 5-cent tour, the 10-cent tour, and the 25-cent tour, depending on how busy I am. But most of the time, you're right in the middle of something. It happened to me yesterday. I'm trying to buy some tires from Tire Rack online for the 944. I'm getting some Pirelli Trofeo R's, and 2 of them in stock in Vegas and 2 aren't. But I didn't realize that when I was ordering them, because someone came in out of the blue and I got distracted. And
Yep.
then you got to go be
Happens to
Mr.
me all the
Nice
time.
Guy and put on the smile and show them around, which I do. But that's just part of it. So that's kind of one of those things that I'm having to manage, where sometimes I just close the front gate, because if I want to get something done and not be distracted.
I think you're entitled. I think you're entitled.
You're allowed to have a life.
Yeah, I think people don't realize. They think it's like a performance shop or some sort of shop, whereas in reality it'd be like someone turning up on your door
Very
and
much
just
so.
walking in.
Yes,
but yet you
very
can't
much so.
walk in here because you got to be buzzed in.
Right.
My setup's a little different. I don't have a buzzer. Someone can literally physically just walk right in.
You shitting me?
Yeah. Well, if
Oh
the
my
gate's open, there's
God.
no buzzer.
Right.
So then you're kind of caught, right? You know, you got to go be nice guy.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
story.
You can step back 50 feet behind the line.
I think you should
Now,
go
you
get
know
a
what?
buzzer.
I always give them time. I always show them around. And you know what else? I always give them a Hot Wheels. Everyone leaves with a Hot Wheels, whether you're invited or not.
You're
such a good guy,
rad.
dude.
I got a lot of Hot Wheels, you know. Come on. That's like my business card.
With this, and I hate to keep bringing it back to fame and everything, but I feel like you do a lot of good in that you are very generous with your time. You're sitting here today, again, second time in a year. Thank you.
Sucker for punishment.
We're grateful.
It's your annual
thanks.
checkup.
Yeah, you'll check it. Yeah.
Turn your head and cough.
It's going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me. I think.
But I mean, to me, it seems like you're very generous with your time. What else do you do to give back? And it seems like you do.
Well, that's a great question. How do I give back? I do give a lot of my time for things. You know, I'm doing this.
Thank you for knowing what I mean. I'm not looking for, well, I donate to this or whatever.
No, for me, you know, I travel a lot. I try to be nice. I try to give back. I try to be humble and kind. I try to go to the extra mile because it makes a lasting impression.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been on the opposite side of it. You know, a couple of years ago, here's a story for you. You know, big time car collector invites me to an event. This is here in LA. And my mum happened to be in town with me. This is probably 5 years ago. So my mum had just turned 75. So my mum was 70 at the time. I get invited to this event, and I could take it or leave it. But I say, can I bring my mum? And I was told, no, it's not that type of event. And my gut reaction was like, what the fuck? So, of course, I never went to the event. And that day I lost a lot of respect for the person that invited me to that event. And that person is someone who's huge, very well liked, very well established. But maybe it was, I don't know what type of event your 70-year-old mum wouldn't be welcome at.
That's a weird
It
one.
was a super
That's a
weird
one.
thing. And it just became this really awkward moment. And to this day, I don't have the same respect for this very well-respected person,
Right.
who I'm not going to say who it is, but it was like, wow, that person could have gone the extra mile and said, sure, no problem.
Right.
Because it was like, what the fuck, right? I just can't believe
That's
it.
a weird one. That's
Super
a
weird
one.
one.
A lot of people that would be like the absolute get. And she's going to be the star of the show
My mum's
if we
the
get
star of the
Magnus's
show,
mom
you
to
know.
show up, you know.
Around the same era, you know, I happen to have the 964, which I just gave you, on display at the Pirelli stand at the LA Auto Show. And my mum was with me. And my mum was there every day because I'd go there and do meet and greet. And it was just awesome having a car at the LA Auto Show. And it was
Yes,
that
we
car.
saw it,
And it was
absolutely.
kind of the debut of that show. And back to the gram, I had a funny post where the Pirelli girls, as my mum would call them, she don't call them Pirelli girls, Pirelli girls. There was a photo of the Pirelli girls next to the car, and then there was a photo of my mum next to the car. Which one do you think got the more likes?
Oh, mom,
That's-
right? It's
Of
got to
course.
be mom.
I would totally
Everyone
wanna
loves
meet
my
her.
mum. She's got the Urban Outlaw T-shirt on. She's dusting off the car every day. So this was, you know, my mum around this era wasn't welcome at this event because, you know, it wasn't that
What a
type of
weird
event.
thing. What a weird thing. And you
So-
didn't even go to see what that meant.
I didn't go because it was like,
wouldn't have
why
gone
would
either.
I go to an event
I
where
wouldn't have
my
gone
mum's not welcome?
Why
right?
would I be
And it wasn't
comfortable in
the
an event where
Oscars.
my mom wouldn't be welcome?
Yeah, it's like, you know, the Marx Brothers with the club, you know, why would I join a club that would have me as a
That
member?
would have me as a
right?
member, yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your question on how do I give back, but that's an example of how I try to go the extra mile.
It does, but more importantly, it led me to something I've always wanted to bring up. Back in the day when Borat is all I can think of, but is it Ali G? What's
Ali
his real
G.
name? What's
Sasha
his real-
Cohen.
Sacha Baron
There we
Cohen,
go.
Booyaka shot.
So Sacha Baron Cohen comes up with these characters, and
Yeah.
he pulls the wool over people's
Yeah.
for sometimes years at a time.
He got
right?
Trump, remember?
He's gotten everybody.
Everybody.
When I first saw your video, I was convinced the person who showed it to me was an idiot because he was being fooled by the new Tom Green character.
Oh, Tom Green.
I thought for sure he's Tom Green, he's doing some kind of Rob Zombie thing, he's pretending he's into these cars, and he's got this whole persona
Good
thing where he's
job.
Mr. Rock and Roll, but it's clearly a Rob Zombie impression, but it's clearly Tom Green.
We weren't that smart enough. Is he Canadian, Tom Green?
He is,
Yes.
yeah.
I got to talk to Tamir about that because Tamir that made the film is Canadian. So maybe there is a thread of logic right there.
Now, Tamir, that's not the same DeLorean Tamir, is it? Different Tamir. Your Tamir is
Tamir Moscovici
Okay,
is a
yeah,
Canadian, Toronto-based filmmaker.
But he did your Urban Outlaw.
He did Urban Outlaw. I don't know if he knows Tom Green, though.
Canada's a pretty small place.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that, though? Especially now, Tom Green has a little bit of a beard, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
What was the Tom Green show? He had like kind of a show. Was it an MTV
He did.
show?
He grew up loving Letterman
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. It was MTV, exactly.
I'm familiar with Tom Green, but not familiar enough, but I see where you're going.
He's like got Jay's insides with your outsides.
I do occasionally get the Rob Zombie. Hey, aren't you Rob Zombie?
You probably still get that.
I
Well,
still
the
get
hat
that.
today more so than,
Yeah.
than
The hat,
usually when I see you.
I think the hat really makes it because, if you Google Rob Zombie, it's a little different, but I think the hat is the Rob Zombie thing.
She actually worked with them, right? With him and Sherry?
Sherry
Yes.
Moon,
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
and
awesome.
A later one. Yeah, he's great.
Devil Man.
And Sasha.
More human than human.
All right, man.
Ali
hang on.
G, Booyaka Show.
There's a
Yeah.
couple. I want to ask a couple more questions from everybody else, and then we'll get you out of here. Mark Permonic would like to know: are there any plans to buy any 356s?
I kind of miss that boat, back to affordability. My era, familiar story, I had the poster on the wall. My generation was the turbo, right? It wasn't the 356. I like them, but to get something that I really like, I don't want to spend that type of money to do it unless what I would take is, pre-A outlaw type of thing would be awesome.
But if somebody had a tub they were getting rid of or something.
Yeah, if someone had
You
a
wouldn't
tub,
turn
they'd
it down.
yeah, no, I wouldn't turn it down. It was like when I gave away my free tub, 9 months ago.
I remember that,
You
912.
know, yeah, I might be getting ready to give away a free 928 as well. So stay tuned.
Oh, my
guys.
goodness
We can
gracious.
talk
Really?
about that on another episode.
Giveaway exclusive.
Yeah, free
I love it.
928. Can we get it?
So that was the what and why. Jim Goodlett, well done on the Hannah Adventures, especially the Millimiglia. Millimiglia. Any plans for more? Maybe the La Carrera?
The La Carrera Panamericana is on the list. I was down in Mexico City in 2017 for the WEC race down there. I actually met the cool old dude that puts it on, who I ran into at Pebble. It is on the list. It's just a matter of coordinating it. I'm actually, off the record, possibly doing something with Porsche Cars Mexico down there, potentially to do that race, that event. That is definitely on the list. The Mille was an awesome experience. We got to drive the other car from Stuttgart,
Mercedes?
Mercedes-Benz. We can talk about it. It's an
Oh,
awesome car. It's a 1955 300 SL. It was
That's what you drove, a 55 SL?
Second time we drove it. We drove it last year. Long story short, but
what a
I'll
great
tell the
car.
story. Do we have time for the story?
Absolutely, for you.
It's another one of those Graham things. So my buddy Ray, who I've known forever, has got an old 1963 Mercedes. And a couple of years ago, it's slate gray red interior, four-door thing. I happened to post a photo of it on the Gram. I get a message from the guy that runs the Porsche Museum. Wow, so cool. A Porsche guy posts photo of Mercedes. So he invited me to the Mercedes Museum. If you're ever in Stuttgart, come and visit us.
Okay.
So, of course, I'm in Stuttgart quite a bit, visiting the other team.
A couple times.
Yeah, so I go visit Mercedes. The museum's awesome. You don't even have to be a Mercedes fan or a car person to appreciate that museum, the Mercedes Museum in Stuttgart. It starts at the
It's
top.
really a German museum almost.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
It's like being in a movie. You go in this elevator that's something like out of the Jetsons to the top floor, and it spirals down. But when you walk out of the elevator, the first thing you see is a life-size horse sculpture. That's the first thing. 1 horsepower, the beginning.
Oh, wow.
And then it walks down through the years. So
This must have really appealed to you, watching the origin stories and the whole bit.
It's awesome. It talks about history and everything, doesn't leave anything out. Anyway, long story short, we see this Mercedes going. I go, what an awesome car. He goes, would you like to drive it? This guy's name's Michael. He works at the museum. I go, yeah, it'd be awesome. He goes, well, we've got this rally coming up called the Silvretta Classic. This is last year, 2018 in Austria. He goes, you can drive it in that. So Hannah and I did that rally. Apparently that was the test shakedown. And then he said, would you like to drive it in the Mille? That was this year. Sure, who wouldn't, right?
Yes.
So
yes,
it was an
the answer's
epic
yes.
adventure.
Oh, whoa.
You're lucky to sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. You're in the car a minimum of 12, 14 hours. It's draining. It's exhilarating. It's exciting. It's dangerous. But yet you only average maybe 30 miles an hour. The Gullwing was a really awesome car in the sense of easy to drive, comfortable, believe it or not. It's kind of like driving an E-Type Jag that doesn't stop as good if you've ever driven an E-Type Jag.
yeah.
we were bombing around in that car because you kind of have to hustle to get around quickly, cutting in and out of traffic. And at one point, we're like, wow, we're kind of caning someone's $2 million car that doesn't belong to us. So Amelia was an awesome experience with Mercedes. I do keep tapping on Porsche's door saying, hey, I know you guys are doing rallies. I see you're actually doing one today from Hamburg to Berlin. I even shot him a little thing on the gram. Hey, next time invite us. That way we don't have to drive the other car from Stuttgart.
Whoa,
so,
well
shout
done.
out right there. So, I'm all
Shout
about
out,
doing
call
rallies. I'm actually doing one with Jerry, the wheeler dealer guy, in a Porsche from Paris to Saint-Tropez in like 2 weeks' time.
Cool.
How far away is that? Like
What, Paris and Saint-Tropez?
generically speaking?
Paris, Saint-Tropez?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's 1,000 kilometers.
Okay.
I've never gone to Saint-Tropez. Paris is one of my favorite cities. I love it there. Saint-Tropez, I don't know, but I'm packing the Speedos and the sunblock. So.
Last question from Motor Archive. Favorite car and road driving combo?
Oh, that's pretty
good luck.
easy.
Yeah.
The Crest, the infamous Crest, and probably 277. But any car in the Crest is awesome. Even if you're in a rental car, it's an awesome experience and memorable moments.
Thanks so much for being here, buddy.
Is that it?
Yeah, unless there's anything else you want to talk to us about.
Well, you guys got any questions that are not wrote down on a piece of paper? Or anything you want to talk about? Monterey Car Week.
How was Monterey Car Week?
do
You want to talk
wanna
about the
know.
auction? How was the Type 6.4
Oh,
auction? Were you there? Were you
Oh.
in the room for that?
We were in the room for that. I mean, crazy, crazy, crazy.
Was it chaos?
Yeah, it was. I mean,
Saw videos, obviously, of everything that happened.
what do you guys think? Was it 30 or was it 13? Was it 40 or was it 14?
No. It was never. We talked about this before it went up when we were at Newcomb.
Yeah.
I always thought it was overvalued.
I think the story with
Overestimated,
that,
I should say,
Yeah, I think the story with that car is the car's being offered around for the 2, 3, 5, 10 million. The well-heeled collectors that might have wanted that car passed on it when it wasn't at auction. The auction guys did a great job of presenting the car and making a glossy video, and
Yeah.
it was the star of the show,
It's on
and
the
the
cover of
stars
every magazine. It's
aligned, and
beautiful.
everyone knew about it.
Sure.
They seem to have everything in place, but the two most important ingredients: two people that actually wanted the car. I don't think they had anyone that wanted the car. I know for a fact it was offered to some friends of mine for an undisclosed sum, all in, 2 days before the auction. I think what happened is, I think they had a little prank, kind of like the Banksy prank, a little stunt that backfired.
Thing, yeah.
We were there. You look at the video, it is 30, then it jumps to 40. How does it jump 10 million? Then it goes 50, then it goes 60. When it started at 30, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this makes no sense. When it went to 40, I'm like, this is a prank, like the Banksy prank.
Right.
Then it went to 50, then it's 60. At 60, people are like, everyone was standing up. Then it went to 70, and people are cheering. And then they pull no, it's 17, after they clearly said 70. Do I hear 70,500? And then they
So
go.
do you think that? So you are saying he was clearly saying it, and it was a bit of a.
I was there. That's what
That's
I
what
heard.
you heard. Okay.
I heard that to my ears. Then he goes, no, it's 17. The split second he said it's 17, people started booing,
Do you
started
think
saying
maybe that was
scam, fake.
Maybe that was an attempt at a strategy?
I think it was a plan that, maybe it was a little joke that they thought people would get the joke. I think it turned around and backfired on them
People
when
were
people thought
booing, the
it
energy
was
got
scam.
sucked out of
The
that
energy
room.
got sucked out of that room. I mean, they had 400 other auction lots that didn't have a problem with the translation or the accent,
That was the only one, right?
including the F1 McLaren that sold hammered down for like $18 million. That wasn't $80 million. It hammered down at 18, and with the premium,
said that clearly.
sold for like 19 and a half. So
That's
what
a
I'm
very
saying
interesting
is
point you bring
there
up.
were
Same fella.
400 other auction lots where there were no miscommunication, accent-related issue, including the Halo car that wasn't quite as touted, and there was no video with McLaren, and that sold for 18 million. There was
Right.
no language barrier when that was 13 that it accidentally became 30,
No,
or
you're
14
making a
became
very good
40. It only happened with the one car that was the most hyped car there that happened to have no one interested in it. So I think maybe they thought it was going to be like a little joke that everyone sort of thought was funny,
Or saving
kind of
face.
like the Banksy stunt. I think what they should have done really was one of two things: withdrawn the car,
Yeah.
don't even put it through, or say, you know what, we've taken off the reserve, whatever it was. We're going, ladies and gentlemen,
Whoa.
we're going to start the bidding at, do I hear $2 million? Do I hear $3 million?
And make
Start
a
over.
splash.
They would have
Okay.
got the 2, 3, 5. The car might have gone to 10. That's what I would have done.
That's interesting.
Because now it's kind of like the reputation might be tarnished for the auction company, right? And also the car itself, now everyone knows, wow, this is a car that didn't sell. And it's kind of weird, you talk to a lot of people about it, and they all say, auction houses do shell bidding, where they can bid things up to reserve, and
I've
this
heard
should
it's legal.
change, it's legal. But yet everyone rumbles about that, but no one wants to talk about it on record. So, it's kind of like, how did this thing backfire so badly when it didn't backfire with the McLaren or the 399 other lots, right?
Right. The auction was by no means a failure overall.
Yeah,
Like, they made a shit ton of money that night.
Yeah, I don't really follow auctions, but the sort of the fallout of auction week was car sales are down, car prices are down,
that's
sell-through
true.
is down
across
the board.
So it's an opportunity to make a splash, it sounds like.
Yeah, I guess if a $19 million F1 McLaren is a bargain because it didn't meet the estimate of 20 to 22. I remember when an F1 McLaren
basement prices, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I only ever sold one car at auction. That was 2013 at Monterey. And I remember the record then was $8 million for an F1 McLaren. And people thought that was crazy because
it was 8 times the
prior to
original
that, they were
sale.
like, $2 to $5 million. Now, all of a sudden, in 6 years, they've jumped to almost $20 million.
It's different now.
Different story.
Jeez.
So, Car Week was crazy. I still love going to the track. The historics is awesome. The challenge
Did you
there
drive
is-
it all? Did you race it all or anything
Not
like
on the
that?
track, no.
Okay.
We were driving around in that Lamborghini, which was fun. But went to a lot of events. Went to the Works reunion. Went to some Italian thing. Went to a lot of press launches.
Is the Lamborghini really low to the ground?
It's no lower than everything else to the ground. No.
Okay.
I mean, they are low.
Random
The
question.
front splitter is long, so the challenge there becomes angle of attack when entering a driveway or a gas station. So with a lot of those cars, you got to do the nose lift and get a super wide angle, which is fine if there's no other traffic in the way. But maneuvering around, in Carmel Valley on some of those really bumpy roads where you got to back up is like, you don't want to be scratching up a
What the hell's
press
this
car.
asshole doing? He's lifting his nose.
Yeah. Don't pick it, lift it. So Car Week was awesome. It's always great being there, seeing a bunch of cool people, and just a memorable experience. Kind of like sitting here talking to you guys.
Is life good for you? Are you happy? Are you doing well? I
Yeah,
mean,
life
you
is-
certainly seem to be great. The picture's fantastic.
Life is good. For me, I don't want to get all repetitive, but you got to make the most out of every moment because, might not be here forever type of thing. So for me, life is good. I enjoy what I do. I wouldn't travel. I wouldn't go to these events if I didn't enjoy doing it. I got an event coming up in Mexico I'm pretty excited to go to in October. Then my priorities, I got to find time for my mom. If you're listening out there, my 75-year-old mom, Linda, she's trying to arrange a trip to New York. And, of course, my schedule's pretty tricky. And my mom being my mom, she wants to book it 3 months ahead of time, right? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get you a ticket. That way I can book it a week ahead of time.
Yeah,
Here's
maybe
the window
less.
I can travel in. Just make sure you're available in this little time frame. I'll get you a ticket. Don't worry about it.
Where is she?
She's in Sheffield, but
Oh,
my
so-
mum's great. She's 75. My dad had passed away in 2012. They've been together 50 years. So my mum's now 75, second lease on life. She's dating this older guy called Harry, who's 82.
Holy cow.
Harry's flying her all over. He's
Not
got
Harry's
a sister.
garage, is it?
Yeah, not Harry's garage.
That would be something.
Harry's a cool old dude that lives in Bakewell, and he's treating my mum real well, taking her all
That's all
over
that counts.
Europe, and my sister's up in Aberdeen. My mum's spending a lot of time with her. So big shout out to all the mums out there.
You mentioned that was October. You said that's coming up. Are you going to be in town in November for the Porsche anniversary, the PEC anniversary?
Oh, what is that? 2-year experience? 3? 2?
I think it might be 3, as a matter of fact.
I remember when it opened. I went when it opened. I went to the Atlanta one when it opened, which I guess was 2015. What did LA open? 2016?
Yeah, I don't
2017?
remember. I was following it for years, and it just took
I went
forever.
to
I
it.
think 16.
So I was there at the opening. I don't know when the date is. If I'm in town, I'll go if they invite me. I mean,
Well, here's why I'm asking: is
What are you asking?
we're going to be doing this show for a week down.
Oh,
from,
really?
From the PEC.
Oh, that'll
they're
be
gonna
awesome.
Bring the set, and they're going
Yeah.
to build the stage and everything. And it's going to be a
Whoa.
really fun thing.
they're bringing the desk.
Yeah, the whole thing.
They're going to bring all the soundproofing and everything on the wall.
I think they'll probably build their own set for us.
So
That's the talk. But
it'll-
I'm thinking,
it'll be a-
if you're in town, we should do this in front of everybody.
I would love to do it. It'll be a little bit like walking in today where it's 90 degrees outside, it's 72 in here, it's super. I had to put my shirt on to stay warm. Yeah, if I'm in town for the 3-year anniversary of the Porsche Experience Center LA, I will come on down because this is always fun. And I'll see you down there at PECLA.
Thanks, brother.
Cheers, guys. Anything else we got to cover?
No, that's it. We're good with that. Let's do a social media check-in,
Yeah, check in.
because that's one thing we always have to do. They say that you got to do more and more of this.
Well,
How do you do so many stories and check-ins? How do you keep up with it?
Point and click. I mean,
Really? Do you
literally-
just do that?
Do you see what I posted today?
No.
You got to check out my story.
here.
Are we still on? Keep the
Yeah.
cameras rolling. Check out my
we
story.
are. Of course we are.
Check out my story, the Graham story.
Let's see, M-A-G.
Spell check. N-U-S.
The Graham story yesterday. All right, well, let's do this right here. That way we all get to see here. Mrs. Ryder, now look at this.
You can go through quicker. There you go. Tap through quick. Wearing the same outfit. I like that shot. That one there. Keep going. That's a cool shot. I like that one. Keep going through. Then we get into. Keep going. Now we get into Chinatown. There's Bruce Lee.
So, I mean, are you just constantly getting out and just firing off? I mean, some of these are driving. I do those ones because it's kind of easy.
Look how many photos I got on my phone.
176,000.
Jeez.
So I overshoot. You know, it's the opposite of quality over quantity here. You know, it's less is more.
How did you get to that? How do you get to that stat?
You just take a lot of photos. Point.
No.
click.
I can't
To
figure
what
out.
step?
I can't figure out how many I have.
You
Oh,
just
I
gotta-
see. 45,000.
You
I
got
see.
45,000.
Yeah.
174.
Yeah, that's nothing.
That's not counting naked selfies. That's just car photos.
Oh, I was counting naked selfies. Those were included.
To answer your question, I mean, I film quite a lot. Last night I was shooting a second part to a turbo video I'm filming with Robert Angelo, who's a cool dude. Shooting a little segment on my 75 turbo at this great location that you see there, which, believe it or not, is like less than 3 miles from the warehouse.
Really?
Really?
So, you know, I shoot a lot in the crest, but that shot right there last night was less than 3 miles from my warehouse in downtown on the back end of Dodger
Whoa.
Stadium. So sunsets there are just mega, really awesome stuff. So you don't have to go far to find a cool place to shoot in
Well,
LA.
I don't need a. You know what I mean? I don't want to drive around looking for places. I'm not the Instagram kind of guy like that. It's more in the lines of just the remembering to do it so constantly.
How
Did you
hard is
train
it? I
yourself?
mean,
well,
God, it's
but
like, you
training
know,
yourself to remember to do
Hold on, we'll do it right here. We're on the gram, right? We're going to click that. You two are going to move together. Come in, there you go. Point and click. Now you're in the gram, right?
it. I guess we are.
So, you know, I'll put a little, I mean, how long has it taken me so far? Like 30 seconds?
Again, it's not the work.
Yeah.
It's the remembering to do it.
Well,
You have a better memory than me. Is that simple?
maybe. That's a priority, hanging out with
Okay,
these guys.
it's a priority. That's a good
There
point.
it is, you're on the gram. So it's
Thanks,
not like
Magnus.
it takes long, right?
Hi.
So, you know, for me, it's a fun thing to do. It ebbs and flows, I think.
Okay.
You know, I'm not super analytical. Some people, you know, they're like, you know, why is this picture not doing as good as the last picture?
Oh, my
Because
God,
it's
I
a
can't
better
look at any
picture
of
and the
that.
algorithms. I got no interest in that. You know,
You don't look at that, do you? Those whatever that.
No, I don't.
Insights. Or,
No, but
No,
I
don't
see
either.
people do. What's with the algorithm on the Instagram? I go, yeah, I don't know. I mean, people, if you like it, follow. If you don't, right? I mean,
You're right.
It's that simple.
it's a fun thing for me to do. Everyone's got an opinion, of
It's a
course,
creative
but
outlet, right?
that's exactly what it is. It's a creative outlet.
Yeah. So you got to do it on your own time or not at all.
Got to do
Or it
everything on
becomes
your
a
own
job.
time. Yeah.
That's a.
I love it. That's.
You know,
what
it's
we
funny.
end
I've
up.
been around some of these big time influencers. You know, I go, how's it? You know, you'd be at wherever, like here's the story: Geneva Auto Show. You know, so and so's launching whatever car XYZ. There's a whole bunch of big time YouTube influencers there, and I know them. You know, some of them are cool. You go, how's it going? Well, it's work. I go, this is work. This for me is like it's not a job; it's a hobby. I guess for them it's work because they're probably getting paid.
Right.
For me, I'm not getting paid.
Right.
I'm not monetizing any of my social media.
Right. You
So
don't
for
have
me-
the paid promo and all
yeah,
that
I
stuff.
don't. People approach me all the time. Are you interested in doing a paid partnership with XYZ? I'm like, no, but thanks for asking. I'm not interested in that, and I don't think that's really going to change. So it was kind of surprising for me for them to say, well, it's work. I go, it's work. You're at the premiere of this, whatever it is, hypercar.
Right. How many people would die to be in your position?
I got a question for you guys.
Let's hear it.
How important is it being the first car automobile company to get to 300 miles an hour?
Oof.
Is it important, not important? It's a bit like my other favorite subject. How important is a Nürburgring lap time?
Oh, to me, it's like money these days. The value is lost on the lap time. Once everything went digital, every car can be everything. This is my complaint daily on this show, where everything can be everything. So you need to decide what the hell you want to be, and then do that authentically, the best of your ability. That's what I believe.
I mean, there's always a new, like Porsche with the Taycan, right? The 4-door electric.
I don't chase.
Lap
We're
record at
chasing invisible stuff
742.
at this point.
All right. I mean, how relevant is that day to day? But some people say, well, if you can do the Nürburgring, you can do anything, right?
I
don't-
never
I don't agree
understand
with
why
that,
that's
though.
relevant, though. Like, literally no one that's using it or that's buying it, that they're trying to get to buy it, is using it for that.
Yeah,
so
how
it's
often do those cars go to the Nürburgring, right?
I don't know.
it seems like a weird
Marketing thing.
Yeah.
And then
There you go. It's about how to sell the car.
what
It's not
about
the car
the
being better.
first car to get to 300 miles an hour? Is this interesting? Not interesting.
When I was a kid, my dad used to take me to the Summer Nationals. It was the hot rod, the drag race.
Yeah.
And at that time, they were just starting to break 300 miles an hour. That was the thing. Kenny Bernstein was like the only guy doing it. But this was when they were first starting to do that. Nowadays,
Good old KB.
everybody does it. Everybody
Right.
does it. It's no big deal. I don't know. When is that going to be necessary for what we
For
do?
a hypercar.
I just don't
Like,
see
can
it.
you do 300 in
What's the
crest?
point
I
of it?
don't see it.
Yeah.
There will
bragging
never.
rights. I think it's bragging rights and big dick.
I think
then
then
it's going to be
great
you got to
that-
build a place big enough to use it,
Yeah.
and then maybe then it's going to be a thing.
I think, like, yay, the technology's there. That's on you. Good job. Other than that, like, for a vehicle, that sounds crazy to me.
I think right now the record is the Koenigsegg at 277 miles an hour.
To me, though, that's
But I
like
hear the rumor is Bugatti's already broken 300.
to me that's like saying a gajillion.
Yeah, a good job.
It's not a
Is
real.
that like $5 million?
There's not a real. It's not a real number. It's not a real. You know what I mean? You can't quantify it in my mind.
How do you quantify
So
it?
that's me.
Yeah, it's like you can do 55 in the crest. That's all that matters if you're having fun, right? Smiles
Yes.
per mile.
Yeah, that's all that
And
matters.
the Porsche Wave.
The Porsche Wave
You're
I
good
happened
at
to me
that.
the other day. I'm in the 5.1. My favorite new toy, the car fever that's not worn off, the 5.1. I passed someone who's in one of those, let's call it a SUV Porsche, give them the wave. They don't even look at me.
They don't even know.
Don't even know.
It's not even the same conversation.
Yeah,
Different
no.
floors of the building.
Yeah, the moral of the story, guys, you always got to wave. Whatever the Porsche is, you got to wave. You might not get a wave back, but
But you're outputting.
yeah,
a
you don't
wave.
have to do the royal wave. Just wave. Thumbs up.
What do you think on the 300 mile an hour? Do you think it's important in any way?
I think it's a milestone. 0 to 100 to 0 was a milestone. The first car to do 200 was a milestone.
You know what? You're changing my opinion a little bit because those 300 mile, the Kenny Bernstein, I'm bringing that stuff up. They would rebuild that engine every single time after every single run. This is you're talking about something being
I'm
able
talking
to be
about
made
technically
that
a
can
street
do
car or
it
a
right.
hypercar.
Yeah, it's a different. You're right. It's a
Yeah.
different animal.
I kinda
But I don't
think it
think
is.
it's important. I think they'll strive towards it. But
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? You're gonna build a 10-mile circle? I mean, isn't that what you have to do?
Do you like
You gotta go to
driving
a test lab.
fast? Is that your thing? You don't strike me as that guy.
I like driving. I think I drive spirited. I think we've discussed that before. It doesn't always have to be fast. That's what's great about the 5.1, right, or the 928. These are not fast cars. For me now, it's more about experiencing the car, the dynamics of
There you
it, the
go.
variety of it.
Yes.
It's not so much about how quick can I get from A to B. I have cars that I can do that in. Of course, I still do that quite often. But to me, it's not the be-all and end-all as to how fast is a car. You know what I mean? It's more about corner speed and stuff like that.
Again, though, that's leading me to the 300 means nothing to me. Nothing.
Good to know.
All right, Mr. Magnus Walker, thank you so much for being here again today.
Appreciate everything.
See you next year for your annual Turn Your Head and Cough.
Either that or we'll see you at the PCLA
Yeah,
event.
no-
We'll
November.
see you
Yeah,
for sure before
yeah.
that. But on this show, Mrs. Ryan, I love you very much. What do we have next week? Oh, no, tomorrow's Breakfast Club. That's it. All right, tomorrow's Breakfast Club. You won't be there. You're going to
I
be on a
won't be
plane.
there. I'll be on a jet.
Everybody else, Newcomb's opens up at 9, hopefully.
Yeah, get up to
They closed
Newcomb's.
last week. Hopefully they'll be
Yeah.
open. We get there around then. There's usually Porsches till about noon. Mrs. Ryan, I love you so much.
Love you too.
Magnus Walker, we love you so very
I
much.
do have a question real
Uh-oh.
quick about
Uh-oh.
Friday Club at Newcomb.
Yes.
I know I see you guys there. I seldom see you driving there, but I did pass you recently coming down. I was going up. But here's my
We passed you
question.
in the Jag recently and I think 277 recently, too.
Yeah, here's my question for you, though. Do you guys meet up before you go there and drive up together, or we just see you there?
I like to drive alone.
You solo.
Yeah, I don't like. I mean, it depends if I've got a good driving buddy,
Yeah.
but like you and the people showing up to your gate
Yeah.
and you don't really know them
Yeah.
or what tour to give them, it's kind of the same thing. If we are going, this is her mobility. It's her time alone. It's her time
Got
in
it.
nature, all that stuff. So we're all about having our own time. It's meditation.
Got it. I get it.
if you want to go for a drive, anytime.
I
Anytime.
know where to
That's
find you.
different. You know
I
what I
know
mean?
where
That's
to
a different.
find
That's
you.
a different thing. Derek
Alrighty.
wants to go for a drive. It's a different thing.
I like Derek.
We drive
He's-
with
he's
Hunziker
a
a
cool
bit. It's
dude.
fun.
I like the stupid car. The stupid car's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you've taken. I think you've driven stupid car. You've taken that out, right?
I've been in it. I haven't driven it yet. So, Derek,
okay.
I need to drive the
Well,
stupid
get on
car.
that.
There's a few cars I need to drive. Busy Motors, big Monster Turbo. I need to drive that. There's
And
OPP, other people's Porsches. I got a list for them.
And then if you were asking, were you trying to figure out if I'm a driver or not?
No.
Oh, okay. And then
I
when
would
we
have
go
asked
up,
you if I was.
when we go up there, we often will drive other cars just
Okay.
because people bring
Other
stuff.
people's
Or
Porsches.
certainly,
I
it's,
get it.
it's nice.
I'm down,
Paul Kennel
I'm down
always
with
brings
OPP.
something. Yeah,
You
that's
know
right.
me.
Yeah.
And I said I didn't like rap and hip hop. Come on. The HUD's going to love
It's your
it.
jam.
Magnus Walker, we love you. Thank you so
Thanks,
much for
guys.
being here. We love everybody at home. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. We love you. We love you. Have a great weekend.
I feel the love. Love is in the air. All righty, we're out. Cool. When does this thing go out?
This goes up tonight.
Oh, it goes out.